Good morning, everyone. This is Melody Reels at the Iowa Quilt Museum here in Winterset, Iowa. Good morning. I'm a little early. This is our Thursday morning live video. If you didn't know, every Thursday morning, I come on here and I feature one or two quilts that are in our gallery here in Winterset. Before we get started, that's kind of why I went ahead and logged on early. Just take care of some business real quick. First off, this Saturday is the second lecture of Diane Murtha's lecture series, and it's called Peaceful Stitching. It's this Saturday from 2 to 3. You can still sign up for that class. You just go to our website, iowaquiltmuseum.org, go to events at the museum, click on that, and then you'll see her at the very top, and you can click on that. And then the last one in her series is on April 18th. So if you can't make the Peaceful Stitching, you can maybe make the one License to Play, is what that one's called. Diane is a well-known quilt. She's author. She's written books. She's designed patterns. She's on my committee. She's a great lady. You will enjoy listening to her. There is a featherweight maintenance class on next Saturday, the 28th, March 28th, and it's only from 9 to noon. If you have a featherweight machine and you're like, I know my machine. Well, if you come, you'll get expert tips, cleaning, oiling and greasing, adjustments, maintenance, how to maintain your sewing machine, troubleshooting, and kits are included with that class. So maybe you're not having issues, but maybe somebody in the class is having issues. And then if those issues arise later, you'll be like, oh, that happened to Judith in my class. I know what to do. So, that can be helpful in so many ways. Anyway, that class is next Saturday on the 28th. If you can't make that class, we're also offering it during the Iowa Quilt Festival. I don't remember which date, but that's the first weekend in June. And I don't know if it's on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. But you could go to our website, again, iowaquiltmuseum.org, and you can find that information out. And then we have some classes in April. I just, real quick, April 3rd and 4th, Sujata Shah is doing the Kawandi applique class. It's hand stitching, beautiful work. I know that's, Friday, Saturday before Easter, but do something for yourself, treat yourself. And then there's a barn quilting class, 2 of them, in April on the 25th and the 26th. So there you go. Did some house cleaning. We just got that out of the way. Good morning. It's 9:01. Let's talk about some quilts. Our current exhibit is Rebound, Renew, Reimagine. It's Manhattan Quilters Guild out of New York. We have had their exhibits in the past. They did one that was 40 by 40 at 40. It was when their quilted guild turned 40 years old. So their guidelines are that they do these quilt challenges and they're 40 by 40. So this quilt challenge was kind of a reflecting theme. Like I'm reading the wall. Reflecting themes of renewal, reinvention, and resurgence following the isolation of the pandemic years. So everything had to be 40 by 40. And one of the other requirements is that all the quilts had to start with a word that started with RE. So the one that we're going to talk today is Reincarnation. That one's Recrystallization. This one's Release Me. So, it's kind of fun. We have 19 of these quilts in this exhibit. We had extra space. So some of these artists brought an extra quilt for us to showcase, and that's in the back. So we are featuring Teresa Barkley today, and she is up here at the front with her Reincarnation, and then we're going to take a road trip all the way to the back. She's the last quilt on this wall in the back called Corn Belt. So let's read a little bit about Teresa, and I'm going to flip you around so you can look at that quilt instead of looking at me. Okay, so Teresa Barkley, she doesn't have a website. I did, what I'm going to read to you is off of the Manhattan Quilters Guild website. What I did find was back in April of 2020, back in April of 2003, Y'all, that is 23 years ago. Is that so dumb? Anyway, she did an interview with Quilters SOS, Save Our Stories, and it's part of the quiltalliance.org. And you can go out and read the transcript from that interview, and it gives you a lot more information and insight about her and how she got started and who inspired her and all that great stuff. But I'm going to read to you what Manhattan Quilters Guild says. Teresa Barkley makes quilts that are the synthesis of many influences: vintage fabrics and postage stamps, a career in pattern making, and heirloom scrapbooks. With each quilt, she combines materials that were never intended to be joined, such as conventional quilt fabrics and found object fabrics, flour sacks, commemorative handkerchiefs, clothing labels, tablecloths, and linen book pages. Teresa feels there is a special beauty in materials and that have endured time and wear, and she designs a juxtapose fabrics with different ages and purposes, giving new life and new meaning to discarded material is one of her primary goals. I totally appreciate that. I love when people recycle anything. So, and reuse it, recycled art, right? And reuse it in a new way. So this is Reincarnation. This is dimensions 40 by 40, pieced and quilted by Teresa Barkley. Materials and construction techniques used: cotton, nylon tulle, vintage recycled textiles, ticking, feed sacks, antique Japanese katazome, and then there's kashuri, denim. This is a lot of stuff. Raw silk, remnant from great-grandmother's scrap collection. That's very sweet. Machine pieced, hand paper pieced, and appliqued, hand quilted. I'm going to take you off the stand after we read about the quilt story. This is, my quilt was inspired by M.C. Escher's lithograph, Reptiles. When I read that some viewers of this 1943 artwork considered it as a representation of reincarnation, I thought about a new altered life I give to vintage textiles when I incorporate them into a quilt. In Escher's work, lizards crawl off a sketchbook page, make a circular path, experience life, and ultimately return to the page. In my quilt, I exchanged the lizards for turtles crawling off a mattress of ticking fabric. The antique katazome turtles, which were cut from fabric that was probably used on a futon cover, which I think is funny, travel a path that end in a new life as a quilt. My quilt emphasizes a hexagonal shape of Escher's tessellated lizards and the design of the turtle shell, the grandmother's flower garden, traditional patchwork. I love that. I've never thought about a turtle's shell being a grandmother's flower garden. And I love that she makes that relationship between the two. The quilt also combines contemporary fabric and fabric that my mother and great-grandmother used. And there's a surprise also on the back of this quilt that I'll share with you. So let's take you off. You could take a closer look at the recycled futon mattress cover turtles, as well as the ticking fabric and the recycled fabric from her grandmother and mother's stash. So I'm going to guess we're going to start here with this big guy. And we're just going to come around. And she's got her hand quilting in here. Kind of gives that, follows the circle. It circles around the quilt. Some fun fabric in here. This kind of looks like a turtle shell, doesn't it? This almost looks, I thought that was a turtle for a moment too. Nope, not quite. But we're gonna come around. And here's some more of her quilting on the sides here. As the turtle makes its circle back around. Let's look at some of this fun fabric here. This is probably from her mother and grandmother's stash of scraps. I love the combination she uses in the color palette. Gives the that indigo blue And the earth colors, the browns, the natural colors. Let's see it. Did you see there's feed sack? Is that a feed sack? I wonder if these are feed sacks on the outside. Well, here, I'm going to show you the surprise on the back. I'm going to guess, since reading that this is a photograph of her mother and her grandmother. Oh, can you see that? Look how sweet that is. Although, I don't know, because it looks like they have a bow tie on, the child does. But I love that she added this little personal touch. And she's got the hexagons on the back of the fabric, of the quilt as well. Her label right there. Looks like, she kind of outlines, let's look on the back here. You could see her hand quilting here of the hexagons, or the, hexagons from the tracing of these. This must be your hand piecing, her English paper piecing here for the grandmother's flower garden. Lovely. All right, one last look of Reincarnation by Teresa Barkley. I'm going to put you back on the stand, and we're going to go on a road trip. Don't get sick. Get you straightened out there. All right. Okay, we're going to go back. Alrighty, you're going to see some quilts we featured. I think that's all you're going to see. I'm down to just, I think there's only 3 more weeks. So I've got 2 more quilt artists to feature, and then we'll do a recap, and then we'll have a new exhibit. So don't miss your opportunity to come see these in person. All right, here we are. Okay. We are going to read this quilt story, and then we're going to talk about that top right feed sack. What? How did that happen? Okay, this is Corn Belt, dimension 79 by 87. Pieced and quilted by Teresa Barkley. It is for sale. If you are interested, you can email me and I'll be happy to share that information with you. Materials and construction techniques used: vintage seed, corn sacks, cotton print fabric, acrylic paint, photo transfers, machine piece, hand appliqued, hand embroidered, stenciled lettering, and machine quilted. Here's her story. Though I grew up in Delaware, my family roots are in the Midwest. Nearly every summer of my childhood, my parents would pack a station wagon and drive their 5 children back to Minnesota to visit family. The annual trip through Pennsylvania, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin, and Minnesota is depicted here, using seed corn sacks that illustrate the shape of different states. As a child, I thought about making this drive one day with my own family. And in 1988, my husband and I drove with our son to see the people and places that were so significant to me. There is a compass design at the bottom of the quilt that includes photo transfers of my family in Minnesota. A photo of my son, Ian, is in the center of the compass, taken on the farm where my mother grew up, playing as both she and I did as children. Isn't that so sweet? I can't believe she's selling this. But you see the compass down here? She makes it look like a stamp, and we just talked about that in her bio, right? That what she's influenced by. And I love that she decided to make this into a giant stamp. And down here, this fabric that we'll take a closer look, that's in the US 10 cents, is all corn. But what I wanted to point out was this winter set hybrid. So she made this quilt all on her own. Like, this is a personal, like, little tribute to her and her family and their trip. There was never, when she made this, I don't know that she thought that this was going to hang in winter set at the Iowa Quilt Museum. And so a lady that does yoga here and my gift shop manager both said, oh, we detasseled corn for that company. So I do have a picture of them on social media standing next to that feed sack and next to this quilt. And there's a little surprise on the back of this one as well. So let's take you off. She quilts each state and outlines each state. in her quilting. And I think it's funny, she found these wonderful feed sacks, but she's got Kansas, Nebraska, places, Iowa, that she didn't really kind of go through, Missouri, but she added them. And I love that here in Kansas, and she's got a scarecrow and a Wizard of Oz fabric right down here by Kansas, which is kind of fun. And here's Missouri, and you could see she's got it double lined there, double quilted there to outline. I love that she was able to find these sacks that have, outlines of the state. I did a virtual gallery walk with Northeast Quilters Guild, and they were excited to see this because it said Postville, which is up where they're at in Northeast Iowa. This is a beautiful one. Got Nebraska, you got South Dakota, Minnesota. I love how she's got the map back here, and it's just along her route here, and each state marked. So you got her embroidery here of her path from Delaware. So, and this border, it does go all the way around. It goes all the way, this border goes all the way around the edge and through her path. But then each quilt has, I think it's interesting she added this one because I think, is that the only one? That's the only feed sack that doesn't have a state on it. Everybody else has the outside of, has a picture of the state. There's Pennsylvania and Ohio and Indiana. And here's the compass. And there's her son next to the tractor, and then her family photos. I love this photo of this guy and his pipe. Do you think it's a corncob pipe? I love this. This is part of a feed sack, and she added it in here. I love that. It's a lot of fun. It's a cool way to have these, to display these feed sacks too. Sometimes you get them and you're like, well, I just don't know what to do with them. Okay, we're gonna flip it over. She does she have, I don't think she has a label on the back. Oh, she's got it embroidered down here, 2008. But I don't know if I'm gonna be able to show you. I think it's funny, she must have found something, but there's a couple of these on the back. So us Iowans are like, oh, corn huskers. But, see, there's one right here too. Please don't fall off the wall. That would be embarrassing. But I think it's just the two on the back. I'm shocked that it's for sale. It's so personal to her and her family, and their family trips. But it is. So if you're interested, just let me know. Okay, there we go, everybody. That's Teresa Barkley. Again, she doesn't have a website, but you can visit her or get more information from her about her. Go to the Manhattan Quilters Guild website, and you can read about her. She does have another fantastic, if you go to the Manhattan Quilters Guild website, they have their different exhibits, and you could see other works and other, like the 40 by 40 at 40 that we had here. And they have, of course, this in there. So you could see other works from your favorite artists in this group, or all of them. But she's got a quilt called Cabbage and Potatoes. And it's beautiful. It looks like it should be, I don't know, it's got it makes me think of a stained glass window or something that should be hung in some state capitol. It's lovely. I really love it. And so you could go out and see more work on her there. She does have an Instagram, but she has no pictures. She has no pictures on her Instagram. She has a cute Instagram name. I think it's Quilt Squirrel? Quilt, well, I can't remember. I think it's Quilt Squirrel. It's a cute little name, but there's no photos on there. But anyway, come see these in person. We have 3 weeks left. These are going to be taken down Easter weekend, so that Saturday before Easter is the last day you can come and see this. We still have that quilt to feature. Its neighbor, we still have to, so I have 2 quilt artists I'm going to feature, and then we'll do a recap of everybody, and then it's gone. So I hope to see you. Weather's looking better. Come out for a drive and come down to Winterset and see us. All right, everybody. Have a fabulous weekend. Have a safe St. Patrick's Day. Have a good time enjoying family and friends. And we will see you next Thursday. Thanks, everyone.